Welcome back to our podcast. Just fade us. We're just your average people who love competition and gambling. That's it. So tell us at your own risk or avoid the pain of a bad beat and just fade us all together. Either way, we hope you enjoy this week's episode. We took a little off week, Byron. Had some Halloween fun, I guess you would say. We had a pretty sick family though, so I don't know how much fun we had, but hope you had some fun.
That's hilarious. He took off for Halloween. That's great.
I have a little kid.
Yeah, that's true. I was just laughing more, I guess, to say I did. But because I didn't, that's not why. But it's hilarious. Hey, we had some Halloween fun.
You didn't celebrating for Avery's birthday or something?
Yeah, it was the day after Halloween.
Oh, you guys did on Friday.
She did a little something, but
I guess you might see, you asked about my hat. And so last time we met, I had my Washington shirt on, which is ironic because the Thursday night game tonight being Baltimore and the Bengals. But I guess while in Rome, our next, I think it's the Crucial Catch hat. All the teams have them, but I thought because of the colors of this one, it looks really nice with Baltimore. And since I'm in the area, why not?
Yeah, because all of them are that color, right? Like that plaid.
They all have that same color, and then they just changed the logo with the color around it. But I was trying to find the perfect team for that color. And you know me, I'm a fan of the sport and players. It doesn't really matter too much to me per se. There are some teams I wouldn't get, but.
Is that a sign tonight? Is it go Baltimore tonight?
Is it go Baltimore? I teased the Bengals, so I got
B for Bengals, but it's
you got B for Bengals or B for Baltimore. I teased the Bengals tonight and then did some player props. But how do you not? The Bengals should have won the first game in Cincinnati. They're getting +6. I'm not those. I think I would take them anyways, but I put them in a teaser and then did another one with player props.
Yep.
The over is high, but I do expect them both to. I expect a shootout. So, did you take one?
I like Cincinnati here. I'm too scared to take money line, but I love them at the 6. I'll take anything a field goal or above. I take Cincinnati.
Or above, yeah.
Yep.
Like I said, they should have won last time and it pushed on that 3. So unless people caught it at the 3.5, but I think the closing line was 3 last time. So, or 2.5, I think it was, which cost a lot of people. But I guess it's been a little bit. So there's been some injuries and some trades that kind of went up. I didn't know if you've heard of some of them. So I was just going to catch us up to pace here. I think the last big trade there was 2 trades that happened recently. Vladimir was traded to Washington from the Saints. So he's over there now, cornerback. And then we had Mike Williams for the Jets got traded to the Steelers. So that provides some more.
Didn't he play there before?
He played for the Chargers prior.
Just Chargers, Steelers? That's it? He wasn't on Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh is the Steelers.
Yeah, but
Jets. I don't think so.
Okay.
Could be wrong, though. I'm not sure. And then I don't think there was any other big. There was a couple other ones. I think Johnson. Panthers went to Baltimore, and then the other wide receiver went to, I forget his name, went to Dallas. Not really a massive. Yeah, what the heck is that? It was another. I'm sure you could Google it.
They need help, so.
And then Dak is out.
Cooper Rush looked amazing. Yeah. You want to bet for me? Actually.
I know he ended up getting me that backdoor cover.
What he got me. Yeah.
I was just praying.
Like a 90-yard drive, it was very impressive.
Yeah, I was like, please. Yeah, it wasn't a terrible week last week. Both you and I had that 1/2 quarter rush that was set up perfectly for us to have big dollars in our pocket. And of course, on 3-1 with 15 seconds left of the first quarter, it's going to be a rush. And instead of handing it to Bucky, they go with White, and there goes our bet by
out the window.
Half a point. But speaking of that, Tampa, Evans is looking to still be out. Lawrence, I just got a report on my phone earlier today. They don't think he's playing for the Jags. A.J. Brown and Smith were limited this week in practice, so we don't know where they stand. Nico Collins was supposed to be probable, but he hasn't practiced, so he's probably. I know on my fantasy team, he's dropped to 0 points and he was 14 yesterday. So I'm saying that's mostly more than unlikely. In our one league with the big money, I have no players this week because Higgins and Collins are both out, and the rest of my team is on a bye week, and I can't drop anybody because if I drop somebody, then I lose Nico because he's on IR, so I can't.
And we're going for him.
So I just have to take the L,
Go get him.
unfortunately.
We're going to go get him.
Yeah, so those are the big ones that I saw come up. I don't know if you saw anything. Oh, McCaffrey's supposed to be back. He's been practicing. It looks like he might be cleared. So that's going to change the dynamics over there in San Fran.
I did not catch up on any injury news. I'm glad you told me that because I was looking at the Jags the other day, like 7?
Yeah, it's 7, but I think it was 5.5. And then once the news came out with him likely not playing, it went up to 7.
Yeah, it was even just about a week ago. It was at 3.5. And it slowly crept up to now 7.
So yeah, I guess that's where I don't know if you've had any big. Like I said, I think we did pretty well last week, and then
yeah, I hit a pretty big teaser for a few hundo.
Yeah, like Kansas City came through there at that end in the OT. Luckily, Tampa didn't go for the 2, and
I'm so happy I fell asleep and just woke up and saw they won and did not see how everything happened.
Yeah, you would have sweated that out. I was sweating it out for you because I was watching the game too. I had some money with Kansas City, but not a lot, and so I was like, oh, for me, it's whatever. But
I woke up in the middle of the night. I guess not middle of the night because the game was still on, but I woke up like this. It was like, so let me check this score. And I saw they were fourth quarter down 17-10. And they had the ball driving. And I was just like, please just score, Mahomes. And I passed out. Woke up at like 3 a.m. The first thing I grabbed was my phone. Like, you better not have lost. And luckily, so I was like, wow, finally a hit. I teased all games, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's a good one. So yeah, that brings us to week 10 of NFL, not of the other sports, but of week 10 of NFL. We're moving along here, past halfway of the season.
Yeah, we did every week. Yeah, besides the last one, and yeah, it's crazy. This makes me sad about football because it's like it's so exciting when it starts. Then you get in this comfort zone where you just expect it every week, and then before you know it, you're like, granted, there's still 8 weeks left, but it's like we're more than halfway already.
We are, yeah.
Wow. I guess we're technically about to start.
But college basketball started.
Yes, I'm going to talk about that one too.
I haven't really looked too far into it, but I know it started, and so I was interested in kind of your thoughts. But I guess before we get into it, do you have strategies? This week I really liked your first quarter strategy, so I'm going to try that on a few games. I got a bet with that one tonight, and then I'll probably do one with the Sunday morning game, Sunday night game, and then the Monday night game. Of course, teasers and some player props, but I've been continuing doing cross betting and just different strategies, seeing what you can pull from there. And
yeah, I've been really leaning towards more. I know I've talked about like the daddy long leggers a lot, and I still do them. It just takes a lot of effort, which is as expected, right? You have to build so many tickets and just keep pressing them with the lack of. Well, this weekend now it's a long weekend, right? And with no plans, I'll probably definitely be able to sit down Friday, Saturday, and then early Sunday while that game's on and just put some more stuff in while there's UFC on, hockey, college basketball, obviously NFL, college football. So 5 sports right there. And if I can get 4 or 5 from each, that's amazing. So I'll definitely still be doing that. But I'm more entertained with these first quarter bets because it's like, it's quick. It's did I win or did I lose?
Can I go to bed now or sorting this out?
I was with my friend watching the games last week and we're chilling there, just hanging out, you know what I mean? And before we knew it, I said to him, I was like, bro, we sat here for 3 hours and like having nothing to show for. Because these 1:00 games just did us dirty. Like touchdown props didn't go through, covers didn't happen, over unders didn't happen. Like later on it turned out to be better because like I said, I had the teaser going, but it was like I can't sit there all day and just let hours and hours go by. And so I was like, I love this first quarter thing because some of the lines are easy. Like Lamar today for 8 yards rushing in the first quarter, I'm taking that. Like every single time. Like I have to. So I love those and yeah, teasers. And I love that college basketball is back because, man, the dogs are just doing their thing right now.
Yeah, I've always actually found that since I started betting that taking dogs in college basketball has been easier than any other sport.
Absolutely.
Hard in
Absolutely.
it's really actually quite hard in college football, but because you always even there have like upsets or just big blowouts, but it's surprising on when it happens. It's not there's really no
Yep.
rhyme or reason to that. But basketball's a little more consistent to read on the
Yeah,
discrepancies of the teams.
they've been covering, sometimes winning outright, and there's some clear ones. Like I won't get too much into it, but I'll say this: there was like when I say clear ones that I'm like, oh, I'm definitely taking the dog in that one. It'll be someone that's like you've heard their name in basketball before. Maybe they made the tournament once or twice, but someone like mid grade, let's say I don't know, like Wichita State, right? Someone like Wichita State will be playing like I don't know, just random school like Southampton or something, and it's Wichita State's only 7.5 against an unknown like school that never hear of really in basketball. Like the college just from known colleges, but so that one, and I think that example, I forget the two teams, but that example right there, I think the line was 7.5. They ended up winning outright, and that one seems simple because in these week ones, you usually get it's like college football. Week one, you play usually like a scrub team,
Hmm.
and it's usually a blowout or high odds. So to see someone week one and it's a single digit game and like you're a previous I think they went pretty decent in the tournament one year, Wichita
Which
State.
is how I say, yeah, they've had some shooters
Yeah.
in the past.
And again, that's just an example team, but it was someone like that, kind of like on their level.
Yeah.
And it was like 7.5. Oh my God. No, I'm not taking that. So there's a lot of those though. There's a lot of them. And then there's some games that's like, why are they 30-point favorites? Not doing that. Are you
Yeah.
insane? No. So it's pretty fun. So if I love the college football. Like this Saturday, there's going to be like thousands of games on between all the sports. Amazing, amazing,
Good weekend. Yeah.
right?
So what stands out to you so far then?
In terms of NFL, basketball or NFL or just
Either
anything.
are, whatever. Start with
So yeah, I'll go back to I'll say this with college basketball. There's a ton of games. There's tons of games on. So I'm not gonna sit here and say this team, that team.
Mhm.
I am gonna keep an eye on North Carolina this year because they're my team last year that I liked
Mhm.
this season to win the tournament. So they're gonna be the team that I just track.
But we did convince each other to take UConn though last year.
We did because do you remember what I ended up finding? And I showed it to you, and it was trippy as hell. Maybe not trippy as hell, but it was like a huge coincidence. But my thought on college basketball, I'm paying attention to early line movements right now because this is where Vegas doesn't have the upper hand
Mhm.
because they haven't seen teams play. They don't have stats, they don't have data. They're just going off of literally news and last
Yeah.
year's stats. So it's just really watching line movement, which means that people are betting and that typically people know more than I do. So if lines are moving in a certain way, I follow the lines. So
Mm.
I'm just doing that. But I am looking further ahead at, like I said, one of the blue bloods, meaning North Carolina, Duke, Kansas, probably missing the Michigan State I throw in there, even though they're green. Maybe I'm missing probably two more, but those powerhouse typical basketball teams.
UConn's going for their three-peat.
Yeah, I'm not taking that. I don't know. I'm just sticking to North Carolina right now. And so I'm gonna be watching them close throughout the season, betting on them. They'll probably be the team I track and like
The
bet
most, yeah.
essentially every time they play. That's
My hockey teams that I do with.
yeah. No, that's a it's a good strategy and it's like it takes dedication to oh your team's not on today, maybe you don't bet today and it's not fuck that.
No,
I'm
you
just like
still bet. I'm so mad at myself because actually it's
life or
funny.
something.
I've to that point in hockey, I don't really typically like betting on my own teams because it just never works out. But I
Mm.
have been doing what you're talking about with North Carolina with Boston, and I've been betting, and they like lost two, and so I was like, they're definitely winning this next one. It was a damn early game, so I missed it because I thought it was a night game, and they won. And I was like so mad at myself. So then I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna keep betting that they win. The next day, missed them again. It was another early game, and I missed it. They won
Oh yeah.
again, and now I was like, now I'm stuck because I know they're gonna lose. I probably should fade them, and I was like, but I have to pick them that they win. And then I was like let me just go with the over so I don't have to pick a winner. And they got blown out. So,
Of
and the
course.
over didn't hit. It was like the over was 5.5, and I think it ended up as 5-0. So it like just missed. I was like, you couldn't score one damn point.
Sounds about right. You know how the game
So
goes.
if you miss, it messes up. So you really do have to track every night and make sure that you're on it every night for it to pan out in that direction.
Damn. And side note, Bengals line dropped to 5.5.
Ooh, something came in.
Yeah, some money came in. I'm gonna do like a teaser and really quick. But what was I gonna say to you? I'm gonna have a list. That's my commitment next week for you and the good people of the Just Fade Us family.
That was cute.
I'm gonna have a list for you of teams that I'm going to track personally for daddy long legger purposes, but just in general to be the mains that I bet on, because we talk all the time, and I was just talking to my other friend too about this. On these Saturdays where there's like everything on, you want to bet on everything. And you end up losing because it becomes more of you just guessing because you don't have time to actually like
Actually, and
look
if you've committed to something, then you can just go with it.
right.
Yeah, like tonight I did place a bet and I didn't want to think too long and I just did that and there were a couple of teams. So I think I took like the Sharks, I just automatically take them to lose. Yes, there's gonna be nice they win, but you just take them automatically to lose. Like the odds are just in your favor for them to lose. Like the Bucks are predicted to win, but I actually took I think the team that they're playing the spread is like +10. The Bucks just lose. And so why would I invest 10 points on the Bucks? So
Yep.
I just took if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But like the team that keeps losing or a team that keeps winning, you're just going to continue. Yes, I think in football it's easier to find spots where to fade or to take buy or
Yeah.
sell because there's only one game a week. But when we're talking about these sports that are happening on a regular basis, you want to take where the percentage is in your favor, whether it's losing or winning. Personally. And like you said, you don't really want to take too much time to think and do all these other things because there's so many games. So you just
there's way too many. There's way too many. And it's tough because man, it's not, I guess it is greed technically, but it's just, you hate that feeling like you just described with Boston. It's, if I miss out, it's, oh my God. I can help.
feel like I had my moment and then I missed it.
When you get into I was going to take, blah, blah, blah. And you're like,
That's
oh
why
my
I'm
God.
sticking, and I'll talk about like when I get to player props, but I'm also sticking with certain players on the Celtics threes just because the majority of the night they're hidden. I told you, and then I missed the train. I jumped on it one night and none of them hit. And then the next nights in a row, they all started hitting again. So you can't really, what you can't do in betting, and I've learned this from listening to other people as well, is that if you've committed to something, you really should stay on that side because the moment you jump off that side, it flips. And then you're like, now that's where that mind game starts to happen and you start double guessing and questioning and doing all of these things. You want to stick with your strategies. And we know that personally too, because how many times have we said, oh, we're going to do this. And then the next day you're like, I'm so mad at myself. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I thought we talked about this.
A whole like proof and like sermon and everything about it. And then literally the last moment I said, I'm switching many times.
What do you like did you make your teaser? I was going to say, what do you like for the NFL this week?
Yes, the NFL this week. So I love the Detroit-Houston over. The Detroit Packers game was supposed to go over and it didn't. I'm not taking
Cost me. It should have. And actually there was a late chance and I believe they slid and iced it. I think that's how it ended. I think it was that game. It might have been another game. I had an over in a game and it should have covered. And I think it's that game.
The Packers, because they were at like 47, I want to say 46, and I think it only landed at 40.
No, I had teased it to 42.
Ooh,
it was the only one of my teasers to lose because I was certain that was going over, and so I had teased it to 42, and they had a chance, and I believe Detroit on their last drive got a run and then slid at like the 10-yard line or 8-yard line or something.
Oh yes,
minutes,
you're right.
As soon as they slid with that time left, I said it's over. They're gonna kneel.
Because it was funny. We ended up being against each other because I had Packers at 10 or something like that, And if Detroit scored, I would lose. But he needed to score like you did for the over. So we were sitting there. I'm sorry, bro, but so when he slid, I was like, oh, that means they're just gonna
That
kneel
means
it.
they're done. I knew this instantly. But so you like the over. I like the over as well. It's hard on the side. It's so hard. I was hoping Nico would come back so I could feel comfortable taking the plus 3.5 with Houston, but he's not coming back. And I just haven't seen. I'm like, is Detroit's defense really the defense that CJ gets on back on track? He hasn't done in multiple games because I got him on my fantasy team. He hasn't gotten me past 10 points in the last 4 games. So it's like,
Yeah, this I wouldn't. I think the only thing for me on this one is I think the overs.
is the play.
Yeah, I think the over is the automatic, no brainer question. Even if it got up to 52, which is scary, I'd still do it.
Because you really just need Houston to score a couple times. Like even if they just score, because Detroit can put up points no matter what.
Yeah, they're definitely going to score. And the thing is, I think the Packers would have put up more points, but Jordan Love clearly isn't 100%.
Yeah, and there's some poor decisions in that game.
I like. There's two. There's two. I don't want to hog too much time. There are two other games that I really like.
Let's see if they're my one. I got one that I do, but we'll see.
So the one that I love is the Jets on the road, and sounds crazy, but Arizona Cardinals are great at home. And yes, they're home. So it's like, why would you take that? But one thing Arizona is not good at is they're not good at multiple games at home. So they had a great game. They had a great game last week against Chicago. Well, I won't say great game, but they beat Chicago by 20. And then they have one more home game. Arizona, you look at the history of Arizona Cardinals, I don't know, take the last 5, 10 years. For some reason, they play amazing at home, but it's only for the one game. And they have the next game and they play terrible. I love the Jets here. Not only that, but I love the line movement from the Jets. It went
Yeah, I
from,
saw that flipped.
yep, it flipped when Arizona. I was like, I take that any day of the week.
Because I
And
went
so,
to tease them. I was like, oh, I'm going to be able to put them in my teaser and get over a
yep,
touchdown. And then I saw that it flipped today. And I was like, what?
yep. No, it's amazing. It's amazing when you see that stuff. And like again, it's crazy. I get it, but Arizona, multiple games at home, second in a row, before a bye. I'm not buying it. Taking Jets at the -1.5. And surprisingly, the other game I like for no other reason than some typical stuff is the Cowboys at 7.5, hosting Philly. And the only reason I like this is, first of all, it's a division game, and third of all, it's a Cowboys 4 o'clock spot at home. That's the only slot that Cowboys actually play decent football, is the 4 o'clock slot at home. Catch them at 1 o'clock on the road, they're great. Catch them any other time at home. A night game at home, awful. A 1 o'clock game at home, it better be a bummy team in their win. But if not, game over. Love the Cowboys, 7.5 at home against the dominant Eagles, well, looking good Eagles. Those are my two disgusting picks.
They're pretty good. I actually do. As long as you're catching over a touchdown with Dallas, I also Dallas this side too.
Yep. Yeah,
Also,
7.5.
because there is a backdoor cover opportunity, right? Like Philly really has it. You saw last week. I was sweat. There's no reason why
Insane.
I was scared to lose the money I had on the line with Philly when they were up 22-0.
Yep.
That's embarrassing. And if they would have lost, I haven't updated my list in a lot, but I damn well tell you they would have ended up right on there because to spread out and to take it needed a pick. Like the decisions that were made in that game, you're just like, yes, Dallas is an awful coach team as well. They're playing poor as well, but you're just like at any point, if there's an opportunity for that big of a point difference and to cover, I'm going to take Dallas' side as well. It was crazy to watch that. I was just like, I cannot believe it, especially knowing that AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are not practicing right now. So one of them is more than likely out.
Look at that. I end up being a genius and didn't know it. I had
So
no
we'll
idea.
see. I know they still got Barkley, their main driving force, but it's just, yeah, that was bad. Those aren't my ones. I actually really like, and all my Washington fans out here are going to be a little upset at me, but I really like the Steelers at plus 2.5.
Yep.
This is one of those, we always talk about Kansas City and when you take them and when you don't take them. It's the same. There's things with Baltimore that you do the same thing too. And I think Baltimore and KC are very similar. If they're big spreads with Patrick and Lamar, you take the other side. If they're under a field goal, you take them, right? With the Steelers, Tomlin as that dog in that spot, he performs really well. And so you're just taking the number, you're taking the position. That's what I'm learning in this betting thing. So I really do like the Steelers there. I like them at the plus 2.5. I definitely like them to tease them to 8.5. So I'm going to take them there. And I surprisingly like the Colts at plus 4. It's just they just keep covering these games. Like I don't even know they're not really that good, but they're playing the Bills, right? They're just a bunch of dogs. Like, and I'm not meaning like dogs on a point. Like they just fight like they're scrappy. They don't give up. Which is why I do think, I know Richardson got all this slack for giving up and tapping out. And I think that is why he's benched, but that's partly because that team is playing so hard to stay in these games and your leader is doing the opposite of what everybody's trying to do. And so I just don't think that you can take them out. And the fact is that we've seen all these teams run on the Bills defense and who has one of the best running backs in the league. Well, the Colts still have at least that.
Yep.
I think there's an opportunity for that cover there as well. So those are my two teams that I like.
And Colts are similar to, in my opinion, to Arizona in a way with they do play pretty decent at home, or in general. The Colts typically, like you said, just cover in general, right? But they're off of 2 tough games on the road, and then they come home to another tough game at Buffalo. And it's just, I'll take Colts at home. I would take pretty much almost all the time. Think about it here. They're 3-1 at home, and they lost by 2 points to Houston in the opener.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're back home to Buffalo. Colts at home, I'm telling you, is just like Colts and Arizona Cardinals at home, especially like the one game, no more than 2 games in a row. They're phenomenal at home.
And we're out of October, so the Bills month is over.
So, here come the Bills decline.
The Bills decline is on the way. Okay, so that's an overview. So I guess, do you have anything like specific for, we haven't done this in a while, but Miller's time?
Miller time.
Yay!
The beer cracking thing. So I guess I hinted at this before. So something in NFL that I've been seeing is we really sleep on over-unders. And I know we talked about the whole Packers game situation, but you see the most line movement, or I've been seeing the most line movement when it comes to over-under. So like I'm talking about anywhere from a week ago, a line could have been for a football game at 40, let's just say 43, and then up until Sunday, it dropped down to 37. So what I mean by following the line, if it was at 43 and drops to 37, that means money's being put in on the under. And oftentimes Vegas doesn't move it fast enough, or I guess, fast enough before like you're able to grab it. So that's a case where I would follow the line or simply just put it in a teaser. And that way I'm getting a lower number than what it originally was. And I'm able to, buy it back up. You know what I'm saying? So actually, technically, it would be nice if I got it earlier. But again, I wait for line movements. We don't do this for a living. We don't sit there and just watch stuff and be like, oh, that's a great number, I should take it at before news.
No, we got real jobs we have to go to.
Yeah, we're trying to promote, but not promote, but teach, but promote. But so for NFL and college specifically, spreads are cool, money lines, all that stuff, but really over-unders I've been looking forward to and watching that line movement. And really check the line movement anywhere. Go to Vegas. You can go to vegas.com and check the spreads, or if you have like I guess not FanDuel, but you can go on ESPN and see the line movement.
Yeah.
I think I told you about it. I use like that Sports Alert app. Mm-hmm. And I like it because you could just click in stuff. You can click players, check their stats, click in games, check the betting odds from all different books. So, however you need to Google sports lines to check over-unders and see how they move. If they drive up, follow the over. If it drives under, follow the under. So that's what Miller does in Miller's time, is check lines. So watch out for the over-under movement.
That was good. That was a good little segment there, actually, because it was different from like the sports that we were talking about and the strategy. So I like that one. That was cute. Good
Yeah.
advice for the people and for me. That brings me to me. So can I get a TD?
TD.
I'm going to talk about a little bit more just player props that I've been rolling with that actually have been doing really well for me. So, not surprising, my LeBron threes. I do not know why Vegas does not catch up to that line. Why is he consistently 1.5 on his threes? Every night he's 1.5 on the threes. I've been on every night. I think only one night he didn't make it. And he hit one of whatever. It's crazy that has not moved to 2.5. Or it hasn't moved to like -2 something. It's anywhere from -130 to, I think the last one it was -170. But if you're pairing it with other stuff, make it too bad. That's still doable, right? I just don't know for why for 2 years this guy is hitting two threes a night and it's just staying at that line. So I'm continuing. That's one. Every time the Lakers play, I'm playing that no matter what. I'm also playing his assists and rebounds depending on the line relatively, but he's pretty much hitting there. So LeBron has been my like go-to for 2 years now, and he's been pretty profitable for me. So sticking with LeBron. Sabonis on, is that how he says his name?
Sabonis,
The tall guy on the Kings. He's actually surprisingly been doing pretty well with me too. Assists almost automatic. I think one night he didn't hit his assist, but his assists are getting me relatively a night. His points, depending on where they go, have been hitting for me. And surprisingly, his three is set at 1, and I've hit that 4 nights before too.
It's only been at 1?
It's been at like over a half. The one night that I didn't hit it, he didn't even shoot a 3. And I think he got taken out of the game for half of the game. So makes sense why. So he's worth looking at. So just putting those out there. Those two guys. And then I told you, the Celtics, the threes are just raining there. Even last night when they lost, Tatum went off in the third quarter and then had no threes. And then all of a sudden hit 5 threes. Derek White's threes are consistent. You know whose threes are consistent is Drew Holiday. His line has been -1.5. He's been hitting it consistently. Horford 1.5. He's hitting it consistency. There's only one night. Last night, Holiday's line got moved to 3.5, and I took the under, which hits. But if you get that 1.5 on both of those, take it. DeRozan's points, anywhere from 20 to 23, have been consistently hitting on the Kings as well. I think the lines have been weird just because they got Fox on the team as well, whose lines are usually at 25 or whatever. But I've been going with DeRozan, and DeRozan's been doing pretty well for me. So those are just some players that I've invested in that are actually doing really well. Who hasn't been doing well is I'm staying the hell away from Brunson because every time I pick him, he just misses. And I don't know what it is, but I cannot get that guy to give me a bucket when I need one at all. So staying away from him. And Wemby's blocks have been doing pretty well for me too. I've been getting him at like over 3.5 for plus money.
Blocks?
Yeah, like blocks.
Wow.
I know, he's so big, like tall. His arms are like the length of my body. It's like weird when I see him on TV because I'm literally like his arms have to be my body.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. So those are just some ones that have stuck out that if you want to look at, if you're building some parlays, they've been doing pretty well for me. So consistently. As far as touchdowns that I like this week, I like if I'm going on some good lines, not like over, because the Barclays of the world are like -245. Yeah. I like Swift to get a touchdown against the Patriots at plus 100. So I do like him there, especially with what going on with Caleb and all that stuff. I think Swift, whether it's a rushing touchdown or a pass touchdown, I think he's got a shot. I do like Jonathan Taylor. We talked about him earlier with the Colts. He's only -125. I think that's a good number to get him at. Not outrageous, especially if you're pulling it with some stuff. Neighbors is plus 100 for the Giants against that Panthers defense. You're going to give me plus 100 for him to get a touchdown? I'll take that. I'm going to look forward on the Sunday morning game. And then another stat that's really hitting for me, Drake May's rush yards. Dude is leading rushing on the team. And that's another Vegas hasn't caught up. So his rush is 29.5 right now at -110. He ran for 75 yards last year.
That's high.
Huh?
He ran for 75?
75. He led in rushing for the last 2 weeks in a row at like close to 100. I was mad because I passed up last week. His rush yards were 15. and I passed them up and took his pass yards, and I was sweating. I needed the OT to happen to like get his pass yards, but he ended up hitting the rush yards. Like the rush yards were hitting the first play of the game. He basically hit it. He's
Yeah, I'll
giving
be
Lamar
looking at his
Jackson a
first
run
quarter rush
running right
then.
now in terms of his rushing. So
Yeah, let's say I took Lamar over his
go,
rush.
go back and look at Drake Mason's
Yeah,
play,
look at that.
what he's been doing rush wise. So that's what I'm going to stick with this week. Yeah, those are my TDs. TDs, I guess, turning into player props.
Yeah, look at you digging deep. 8 rushes for 95 last week.
See, that's what I'm talking about. And go back to the week before. Like he's just running, and he's
3 for 46, 5 for 38, and then he
didn't
yeah,
play a
he's
couple. He got taken out, but even the one he got taken
yeah,
out of, the 38, that's still over the 29.
and it's only on a few rushes.
Yeah, he's taking. They're large rushes that he's hitting.
Wow. Yeah, that I'm glad you put that on my radar because that first quarter rush is gonna be.
He hit 20 yards. Like whatever the first rush he took, he had broke the rush yard because I was so mad at myself that I didn't take it. Anyways, that's our little rant. I guess we'll end so we can get watching the game. But
We got so
betting
yeah, we got to think of
to
something.
close out. But I guess if we're doing our betting and fading, I'm not really sure about like fadings, but we did come up with we feel good about Steelers 2.5,
Yep.
Colts 4, Houston over, and Dallas +7. I'm with you on year 2. You were with me on my 2. That feels good. Not even thinking about them. Go with them. Look at some line movements for college basketball, and good luck betting. Could also just take us.
Lead us all the way. No, they should follow us this week, actually. I'm going against the grain because I feel good
I
about
feel good about this week, too. All right. Till next time. Happy betting.